Hello, and thank you for joining me. So, last time I introduced the concept of logos, which was the understanding that behind the cosmos there was a creative and sustaining force, and that the writer of John would have been aware of this and picked it up in the introduction of his gospel to introduce Jesus as this logos, this creative, sustaining force. So today I want to look at reconciliation, certainly reconciliation of ideas. So I want to take that idea from Greek philosophy and put it into the broader biblical narrative. So we have this Jesus, this idea, concept of logos, right at the beginning of Genesis.
We find Jesus actively present at the beginning of Genesis as God's Word. Everything is made by him and through him and for him. So when we think of God's Word, I change that in my mind to verb, because when God speaks, loving action takes place. It is creative, it is expressive, and it is reconciling. When Christians say they're going deeper into God's Word, I think that is a wonderful thing, but it shouldn't just be about amassing knowledge and information. Rather, it should be directed towards a strategic action that follows God's pattern of reconciliation. For this reason, I think that in some French Catholic editions of the Bible, instead of having in the beginning was the Word, we have au commencement était le verbe. In the beginning, we have the verb. And in doing this, they're trying to get a fuller sense that God's Word and wisdom do not remain on a page or in people's minds. It results in something that's shared with the world. We see in Colossians and elsewhere this idea of Christ reconciling all things in heaven and earth, not some things, but all things through his passion. And this is the reason why I wanted to bring the idea of both ancient Greek thought and Hebraic thought. They can be brought together and still unveil something of God's. And I think this is what the Christian community therefore is meant to do. Because the whole idea, I would suggest, of the Christian faith is not to think how we go to heaven, but how we replicate the idea of heaven coming down to earth. Jesus, as the great reconciler, transcends our limited understanding of truth, informed as they are by our beliefs and prejudices. It is for this reason why a particular Christian community is strongest when it includes people with different experiences and backgrounds. When you have a richness in your Christian community, it emboldens you to be able to look outside and not be so worried about what you may be confronted with, but to look for points of connection. So for a simple and profound example of what this may look like, I turn to a conversation I had with a Christian man, a devout Christian man, during my work travels. This man is well respected in his church community, but he's also at the same time very attracted to the discipline of the prayer life in his local community's mosque. And sometimes he attends that mosque and joins in prayer with them. They know that he is a Christian and warmly welcome him, and he does not feel that he has to negotiate on his beliefs, because while he's praying there, he is praying to Jesus, and he says that he feels Jesus smiling at him as he worshipping with this other community. It's about more practically than that. It's that the conversations that he has with his Muslim brothers and sisters from the community where he lives are profound, because they are both free to open points of conversation, because they are not looking for difference but looking for points of reconciliation. And the starting point in this regard is prayer. And he says we have incredible conversations about prayer. Neither party is trying to convince the other. There is this open conversation. And isn't that how we are told to do our, for want of a better word, evangelism? Aren't we told to always be prepared to give reason for the hope that you have? And quite often the Christian message stops there. But if you go to the end of that verse, it says, but always do it with gentleness and respect. So there we have a simple example. A man that's secure in the faith. He comes from a Christian community. So he has no fear in reaching out to others who are seeking the face of God, but differently. So I'll let you think about that. And if you've got any comments on that, I would love to hear. As always, well, not always, but quite often, particularly in this week where we've been having yet more conversations about Christian nationalism, an oxymoron if there ever was one, I've written another poem that tries to capture this idea of reconciliation not being about fear but opportunity. And I hope you enjoy it.
The great reconciler. No double life of compromise, readily snared in corruption's thorny maze. Yet the true bard scythes through man's self-serving lies, using fleshly script to direct the pilgrim's ways. Follow the path set before your feet. Your compass bearing follows the Pentecostal flame. Do not look for safe discourse or the same familiar seat, for in your courage Christ transfigures every stain. So venture forth and grab hold of grace. In strange places, comprehend the living light. The great reconciler has already reached that place. He now looks to you to build what's right. As always, thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next time. God bless.